As the trial draws closer, the defense team for Clara Harris decides to go for a kind of test.
Regina, your thoughts about whether this is a case of murder or something else?
A tool used by clients who can afford it. It's a secret rehearsal called a mock trial.
I want you to talk to me about whether or not this is a case of murder, or is this just a case of passion? I mean, tell me what this case is about.
In the room, 20 people who only know the Harris case from newspapers and television. In charge, trial consultant Robert Hirshhorn, an expert at helping defense attorneys pick winning juries.
Trials, as much as we'd like to think that they're a search for the truth, for many people, they're not. For many people, a trial is, what are the facts that substantiate or support the opinion I have? Who has come into the courtroom thinking that Dr. Harris was guilty, based on the media? And it's okay.
Most likely, just based on the media.
Okay, Joy?
When I first heard on the media that she had run over him multiple times and the car was on top of the body, I thought to myself, yeah, she intentionally did it.
Hirshhorn decides to correct Parnham, the old pro, since jurors don't like folded arms.
Can you believe this? 35 years.
The team probes the mock jurors for prejudices. Will the women judge Harris on her money and looks? They get their answer.
This might be a small thing, but the way she comes off, even before she opens her mouth, she has that Leona Helmsley look. Her type of dress, that much makeup, just...
Yeah, so we need to work with her in terms of softening her up.
So now it's time to let the mock jurors hear Clara Harris talk on video. Her story of that night, this tape, has never been broadcast. As we begin, Harris arrives at the Hilton Hotel. With her, Lindsay, her stepdaughter, who is horrified by her father's affair. Harris says she didn't go to the hotel to confront her husband, but to see if he was breaking off the romance as he promised. She says she saw Gail Bridges' car.
The rear window windshield wiper, and I bent it many times. And then I bent it once in the front. And then I scratched her car with my nails. And Lindsay gave me a key, so I scratched her car quite a bit, I'm sure. There were some people in the windows, I was just hoping that that was him, that he could see the pain that I was feeling at that moment.
Something right at the start of Clara Harris's story makes the mock jurors skeptical. The defense team learns why.
I'm having a problem with her testimony because she's not really admitting that she really went there to confront them, and it makes her not be very believable that she's not admitting that.
So Clara's got to acknowledge that. She's got to be able to suck it up and say, I made a mistake.
As Clara Harris continues her story, she and Lindsay call David Harris on his cell phone. He had told them he was going to a restaurant, but instead, he and his mistress come out of a room at the hotel. When the elevator opens into the lobby, Lindsay and Clara are there.
He was holding her hand up, like he used to hold my hand many times when he would call me that I was his princess and his sweetheart in a very special manner. And I just looked at her. She wasn't even surprised to see me. I grabbed her by her hair on the right side. And I remember David saying, "Oh, no, no, no."
A fierce struggle erupts. David Harris shouts at his wife, "It's over, it's over." He and Gail Bridges are escorted outside to her car, while another hotel employee steers Clara and Lindsay to her Mercedes, saying, "Don't go where they're going."
And suddenly all I thought was what that man said, "Don't go where they're going." So I thought, so they're going together in her car? And so all I thought was stopping that car. And I started driving toward where I had seen her car.
She says it all happened so fast.
And then I saw David running in front of me to the left, and I kept looking at him. I thought my car was going to stop right there in that sidewalk that seemed to be quite high. But my car kept going, and at the moment I didn't know who was driving.
When Clara Harris finishes her story, the defense gets its first truly encouraging words. Just 2 out of the 20 mock jurors, both of them men, say Harris is guilty of murder.
Not guilty across the board.
The other mock jurors, especially the women, say they don't think she meant to do it.
Pamela, what were your words that you used? Snap.
She hit the car and she wants to just really get at Gail by hitting his car. And it was an accident.
From a list, they choose a much weaker charge.
Criminally negligent homicide? Okay. Shirley, do you think she's guilty of any of these?
Possibly reckless driving.
Reckless driving, okay. George has, you and George, I think, are going to have lunch together. Tommy, what?
But the defense knows that all this depends on another key piece of evidence, that crucial videotape of Clara Harris driving the Mercedes that night. Will it show just one horrible blow to her husband, which could